Hi, this is Matt, and I want to do a video on my story to instructorhood and some of the challenge that I went through, and some of the things that inspired me, some of the things that motivated me, and basically my story. Okay. Um, Becoming a survival instructor was something that I never planned on doing. It was a lot of it was happenstance. If I go back, there was a period in my life where I was homeless for a while, and I'm not going to get into the details of that, but I met some people in the homeless community, and while some people knew some tips and tricks, there's one person that I'll never forget. I got to meet and get to know as well as you can know a homeless person when you're part of a community just trying to survive. And this person I would see on a daily. Well, one day I didn't see this person, and I came to find out that they froze to death the night before. And knowing what I know now, I could have saved that person. A simple trick could have saved this person. And I'm not going to get into it because with Google searching, you can find out who it is, or read the article and everything. But that hit me, that I could have saved this person with something that was available anywhere, and I didn't know how. And so later in my life, I had the opportunity to start learning, more on survival. Now, until then, living where I live in Western North Carolina, we hunted, fished, hiked, swimmed, had bonfires, very, very basic rudimentary knowledge I had, but nowhere near what I wanted. And later in life, it was, survival was, you know, introduced again through various means, and it just sparked a bug, and it started off as kind of a passing interest, kind of I'll watch a couple of YouTube videos, or I'll read a book on Kev Hart, whatever. And for some reason, it hit me that I'm married, I'm an adult. If something happened, I would have to rely on someone else for mine and my wife's survival. And that lit a fire. So I started, but I went first, I started reaching out to people that I knew and started learning stuff, and started networking. If someone knew someone else, I started reaching out to that person. And finally, I reached out to a particularly well-known survival instructor and pleaded my case, and this person probably gets thousands upon thousands upon thousands of requests, and I didn't hear anything back that time. So, as life progressed and I met new people, took more classes, got to know more people, and kind of worked my way through the ranks, if you will. Then I started getting to be known by more big names in the survival community. And so one thing I've done, and this is my third one, is I have a journal here. I mean, it's like $5 on Amazon. But when you open it up, and this is my third one, so this is, this year, but I have notes from every class that I've ever attended, and I have the date, the time, the weather, the instructor, the school, and when I got done with the class, I would have the instructor or the teacher, verify the notes and then put their signature on it. So these books are kind of like a resume. I can go somewhere to a survival school and take those with me, and everything I tell them, they can look and see, okay, this person did this, and then they can, ask that person if that's their signature, if that's, how it was when they taught the class, and it just verifies. It's a verification. Well, I finally met the instructor that I wanted. And what I mean by that is to most people, this person is the end all be all. So the way this person teaches is like he'll look at, I sent him all my, copies of all my stuff. He verified it. He did go through and contact the teachers and verified that, this was legitimate. And he does pass or fail. And what I mean by that is, say I'm feather sticking, and he demonstrates it, and then he gives you however much time you need, and you practice and you practice, and you come to him and you say, hey, I'm ready to take this test on feather sticking. And his requirement is each feather has to have X amount of curls, say 20 curls. Well, and you have to do 15, 20 curls, individual, with each one of them having 20 curls on each one. You do, say you have to do 20, you do 19, that 20th one doesn't have, say it has 19 curls instead of 20, well then you failed. And he doesn't do, you can come back and take that test again, because you came to him and said, I own this skill, and I believe that I own it to the point that I can teach someone else to do this skill, no matter what it is, and I can do it to your standards. And you failed. And by you failing as an instructor, someone else might fail, and then it could be catastrophic. So he was very, very rigid, and he was like that with everything. Everything was pass or fail, no matter how far you got. You always knew that if you failed one thing, then you couldn't go any farther. He would never recognize you as an instructor. Every other place out there might, but he wasn't. And his name carried a lot of weight. So, some of the things, as in totally immerse yourself in water for, say 30 seconds, and freezing conditions, get out, and you have, 3 minutes to build a fire before hypothermia sets in. We had to do that, stuff like that. Now, I believe that there is a place to teach people to do that, because it does encounter stress. It makes you wholly accountable at all times of what your skill level is. And if your skill level is not what you say it is, as you progress through this system, that's it. Your progression stops. It's pass or fail one time, and it's all you get. A lot of people make the mistakes of watching YouTube videos or watching survival on TV and think that's the way it is. It's really not. And the ones that are good survivalists will tell you, and have said in interviews, look, that's a TV show. I wouldn't do 90% of what I did on the show in an actual situation. And you have to look to that. And everybody, you want to study different areas. In other words, you want to study military survival. You want to study a more naturalistic survival, a more bushcraft approach. You want to blend. You want to study post-apocalyptic, primitive, herbalism. All this stuff all ties in to the point that it does become your life. It becomes your life in a way that once you never stop learning, even as an instructor, but you get confident in your skills that, I don't want to say an overconfidence comes in, but a confidence as in, hey, I can build a fire and survive. I can, I know the steps and I know how to calm down enough to rationally think through this. And a lot of that was going on. Like when it came to fire building, we spent a lot of time on different fire methods, different kindlings, definitions. We even got into the scientific laws of radiation, the inverse cube law, how to maximize that with different techniques. And it was, as you progress and you see your skills becoming more and more and more, most people who are great instructors don't flaunt it. They don't say, they have a record of who they studied with, but they don't say they're the best. It's always, I'm good at this. For example, David Westcott is better at this than I am. They know their limitations. John Plant from Primitive Survival is way better at flint napping. Will Lord is way better at flint napping than I am. Do I know how to do it? Yes. Can I do it? Yes. Can I do it to their level? No. So good instructors know their limitations, and we always try to go past those. We know what we need to work on. So if I'm giving a class and I have Will Lord, who I recommend you see on Facebook and Instagram, there, and I'm doing, say, flint napping, I would try to see if he wanted to teach that part of the class. If he didn't, I would do it, but I would know that student, in that instance, was way better than I am. So when you look for instructors, they all should have a reference of who they studied with, of what they learned, people that you can verify with. You can call up to school, did this person take this class? Because most of the time the registration is available. If it's not, ask for their books, ask for their notes of the class, ask to, if an instructor, signed off on their notes saying they took this class. And to be a survival instructor could be 1 or 2 university courses, complete, courses to get a degree. So you never stop. It's just your knowledge and your techniques and the stuff that you've mastered is more than someone else. So you teach them, and they might end up teaching you something. So always look at it like that. Like I said, all my stuff is available. It's all signed, sealed, and delivered. And I'm still doing it. As I said, this is my 3rd one. And you don't even want to see the one on herbalism and the different things that I've took with that. So, that's my story. I got into it because I didn't want to be a statistic. And I got bit by the bug. So I hope this throws some light on you. I hope you now know what to look for when you do choose, to take a course. And get outside, and I love you.